until we come your way next Saturday, when already we would have known who is the next president of the Gambia Football Federation, whether it is going to be Modou Musa or whether it is going to be Mustafa Kebe. The Congress date is...
Or whether it's going to be Ibrahim's scheme of work will work.
Yeah, maybe a compromise. But D-Day is July 31st, Wednesday, at the Friendship Hostel. Continue monitoring our sports programs and sports bulletins. We will keep updating you and also bring build up to the GFF Congress. I am Mohamed Diallo, and it has been great to have Lamin Cham back on board and Ibrahim also coming to talk to the general public on this brilliant show that is a multi-sports. Bye-bye and enjoy the day.
In Africa, there are more than 1,000 species of mammals, 2,000 species of birds, and hundreds of species of amphibians and reptiles. Most of these animals are native to the continent. It's an area on the planet where biodiversity is very rich. In any case, it's expressed here in the most spectacular, most open way. Africa's 11.7 million square miles stretch over both sides of the equator, and 3/4 of its surface lies within the tropics. It's one of the reasons for this abundance of wildlife. This intertropical zone is by far the most favorable environment on the planet, spawning a profusion of species. Animals have always been found in abundance here, but not humans. The continent remained sparsely populated by humans for a long time. In 5000 BC, elephants without a doubt outnumbered humans in Africa. Elephants and humans have one characteristic in common. They aren't tied to a specific environment. Capable of adapting to almost any habitat, they both colonized the whole continent. Initially, elephants were found virtually everywhere in Africa. As proof of their initial distribution, these ancient remains. This painting was created by African Bushmen in the southern part of the continent. But humans also depicted elephants 9,000 kilometers from here, in the far north. This etching was drawn on the rock of the Caucasus Mountains in Libya, less than 5,000 years ago. This region is situated over 600 miles from the coast of the Mediterranean. In 1000 BC, it transformed into a desert. As a result, the elephants disappeared. This time, humans were not at fault. This wasn't the case in the north. On the Mediterranean coast of Africa, there were still huge populations of elephants living alongside giraffes and ostriches. In 300 BC. Before each military campaign, the generals of Carthage captured a few dozen of these elephants to train them for battle. Overestimating the potential of these pachyderms, General Hannibal ended up losing the war against the Romans. This was very bad news for the elephants and for all the wildlife in North Africa. The Romans took advantage of their new African colonies and proceeded to systematically pillage the wild animals. We were witnessing the first massive organized attack of humans on the wildlife of Africa. While a few species were used as exotic game and ended up on the tables of the emperors, most of the animals weren't being hunted for food. They were captured alive and intended for use in circuses. You can imagine the difficulty of capturing these animals without injuring them, then transporting them from one continent to another. You can imagine how many animals died for each living animal that ended up in the arena. Alive, but soon to be slaughtered. Latin historians gave us an idea of vast numbers of animals that were taken from Africa. For the games of Emperor Pompey alone, 600 lions and 400 panthers were sacrificed. In the year 80, 5,000 animals died in the Colosseum to mark the occasion of his inauguration. Among them, crocodiles and hippopotamuses battled in the arena, which had been converted into a pool. They went in search of the hippos and crocodiles in the Nile basin, where they were found in abundance. But this massive capture would weigh heavily on the animal population. After the 4th century AD, you could read the disquieting commentary of Latin historian Ammianus Marcellinus about the consequences of the capture of these animals. He already spoke about the serious depopulation of these species from their natural habitat. It's probably the first account that addressed the impact of humans on the wildlife in Africa. The unbridled taste of the Romans, both for circus games and ivory, was without a doubt the reason elephants in North Africa became extinct in the 1st centuries AD.